Hey everyone, Kayla Ebby here with the Educator Chipotle Challenge. Educator shout out interview today with...
Hi, I'm Jack.
Jack is a former student of mine. And Jack, what grade are you in right now?
I'm
what
in
school?
11th at Da Vinci High School.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank
and
you.
being part of this.
Thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely. Jack, will you describe one or more educators who have had a positive impact on your life and how they made a difference in your life?
Oh dear. So first I'd like to shout out to Mr. Terrell Penny. We called him Mr. T. He is a teacher in he taught me in Oxnard, California when I was a very small child. In about first grade, I think. He was just always there and just a really cool guy, very open, very positive, made a real difference in my life. Next, I'd like to shout out to the Da Vinci Junior High staff, Miss Abby, and Mr. Scott Thompson, Nancy Cardinal, and Diane Zablotsky.
And how did they make a difference in your life?
The support and open energy and just positivity they constantly had, even though they were going through some stuff themselves. They just always made time for the students like me or anyone else they need. Just a good, consistent rock, you know what I mean? What I'd say about Mr. T and how he really made an impact on my life was, like I said, the open-mindedness, he was very big on communication. I was having a rough home life at this time, and I don't remember a lot of moments with him, but I remember him just doing things just to make students laugh. Like, he's a very athletic guy, so you know those poles in school, he would grab them and lift himself up sideways.
That takes strength and skill and balance, Mr. T.
Right, props to you.
Props to you.
Yeah, he just did whatever he could to make our lives so much better. With Miss Kayla Ebby. I had a very hard time in junior high. I went to her in a very low point in my life. I was just not having it with anything. Things were really difficult, and when I talked to her, when I went into her school office kind of thing, I don't know, what do you call it?
Yep, my office.
Okay. When I went into her office, it just felt like a weight was being lifted off my shoulders, like bit by bit. It wasn't a complete, everything is better now. It was, you kind of cracked at my walls. It wasn't just a constant chipping away. It was every time I came in, we would talk about something and you would get me just rolling. I would just rant about it. Yeah, I can imagine you remember.
I do. Fondly remember. We had some good conversations.
We made some interesting metaphors up.
We sure did. Like
the horse riding the waves on the surfboard. That was a fun one.
Yep.
Just always being there. And Mr. Thompson, I remember having a conversation with him about, why am I like this? Why am I messed up? And he just looked at me and he said, I'm messed up too. We're all on different kind of stories, different paths that we're on. But really, there's never going to be a moment where you're at 100% for your entire life.
Sure. Yeah, everybody's perfectly imperfect.
Yeah, and that's what he was trying to communicate to me, exactly. And at the time I didn't get it, but now when I look back on it, it's just a really good memory of him. Diane Zablotsky has my heart always. She's so sweet and always willing to talk, and just she's so great. And that goes along with Nancy Cardinal as well. Just very open and made my day. Both of them did. It wasn't necessarily what I talked about with you, but it was if I needed to talk, they were there. If they saw something was wrong, they always had that sympathy, that empathy there.
Mm-hmm.
It was never faked. I could tell it was genuine. There was never a dull moment with them.
That's great. I'm so glad that you felt that with them. Shout out to Da Vinci Junior High staff and Mr. T.
Of course.
From your perspective as a student, what resources are necessary to have at school that support students' mental, social, and emotional health and well-being?
Definitely having that consistency there. Having resources open and finding a way with the students to really connect with them and find a way to have them know that you can be trusted, that you're not just another person doing their job, you're really there for them. So resource-wise, I consider myself part of the LGBTQ plus community. And when I was at the junior high, it was a very supportive place, as well as Da Vinci High School. The resources that I'd like to see is people being educated. Not everyone's going to get it. We can't shove it down their throats. We can't make them understand. But what we can do is educate them. We can try to help them see that we're not any different. With labels, there's still a human being. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make us any different because we're gay, because we're trans, because we're pan. Or anything, any label that you put on yourself, because that's all it is. It's a label, and it may mean something to you, but it's not all that you are.
So to have those resources available to educate adults on campus, no matter if it's a teacher, custodian, or principal, and students as well, and to have that available for them to choose to partake in and learn about.
Like the assemblies that you guys had, I think it would have been fantastic if I saw some representation up there.
Noted. What advice would you share with your 7th grade self, Jack?
Oh dear. It's okay to open up to people, just make sure they're the right people. I'm not saying be closed off. I'm saying put your trust where trust is well supported.
Well said.
Thank you.
Well said. Jack, is there anything else that you would like to share with educators and students watching?
You guys may be adults, but that doesn't mean you're going to be on top all the time. That doesn't mean you're never going to be unsure. There's always going to be moments of confusion, and I think you could use that to connect with students. Not always being like Rambo and just constantly having the answer there. I think you can share some of those uncertain moments with the students and make them feel like, oh, there's always that kind of space that you're in where you're not sure of everything, but that's what life's about, you know?
So showing humility and just keeping it real and being honest and humanizing themselves by acknowledging that they're unsure of something or don't have all of the answers to a particular question, that can be seen by students as a way to build that relationship. And how about for students?
Oh dear.
What would you like to tell them?
Coming from a student myself, don't block yourself off if you can. You know, if you're not completely safe, then I understand that. But if you have the opportunity to be open with someone, to share what you're thinking, and you know that they're a safe person, that you can trust them, please do so. It's amazing what letting out a little bit of information can do to a human being. You know, make them feel safe, make them feel supported, all of that.
What advice would you give a student who doesn't feel safe or doesn't believe that they have a trusted adult to share those things with?
That's a hard one. I mean, depending on your situation, it's different for everyone. It's not going to be easy for anyone. I'm not saying like, oh, just try harder, just open up. You know, I know that's not possible. I am saying that there are people, and I know you've heard that so many times before, you know, like, it gets better, there's so many people out there, and I know that feels like a whole load of crap. But like I said before, put trust where trust is well supported. There are people like Miss Ebby, like Mr. Thompson, like Mr. T, like Nancy, like Diane, that are always there, and they're not just doing their job just because it's their job. I understand that it might not be easy to see that, but no one should ever reach a low point that's so low, like they just kind of snap. You know, no one should feel like that. They should feel that they can help, they can have someone to chip away at their walls. You know what I'm trying to say? Yeah.
I think so.
Okay.
I think so. So that each step of the way of the difficult or trying experiences, that there's somebody that can help alleviate some of those things, as opposed to bottling it up for however long until you reach your breaking point of then exploding and however that looks, in anger or violence or
Anything really.
anything that is potentially harmful or unhealthy. Thanks, Jack. Thank you so much for being part of the Educator Chipotle Challenge.
Thank you for having me.
In my Educator shout out interview, the purpose is to do just what you shared today, in making sure that educators know how impactful they are on people's lives from various ages. And it's really great to hear that you've had educators in your life that have made a difference and that have made a lasting impact on your life and your journey. And you are on this path of such growth and becoming, I'm not entirely sure what you're gonna do with your career path.
Neither am I, and that's fine.
Totally fine. But I know that over the years that I've known you, you are going to make a difference in people's lives, and you already have, mine included. So
I appreciate
thank you.
that. Yeah.
Thank you for being you.
Thank you, you too.
Thanks. All right, peace out from Educator Chipotle Challenge, Kayla Ebby and
Jack.
And Jack.
And Jack.
Peace out, everybody.
Bye.